You are listening to selfdiscoveryradio.com with an orchard of wisdom just ready for your picking, filled with illuminating, inspiring stories. Do check out the community and the discovery stores. We are here for you. Our next show is... Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of Channeling Ascensions. I'm your host, Sarah Troy, along with my co-host, Christina Hill, and her wonderful spirit, Athella. Athella is her spirit that will come through and join us when she has something to impart with us. Wonderful divine knowledge straight from the angels. And our guest today is Belinda Tharrell. She's been with us here a few times on the station, always imparting such wonderful infinite wisdom and love and compassion. And you can go and listen to any of her shows that she's done with us before, and I encourage you to do so. But today it is about the dolphins. Why are we doing a show on dolphins? Because they are beautiful, intuitive, divine creatures here to teach us. Christina says that when we get very quiet inside, when we come home to our own inner sanctuary, we become the dolphin. Inside ourselves, each one of us has an oasis and an inner island surrounded by a sea of consciousness. Swimming out and around the island helps us leave the main island, our problems, our ego, and our inner commentary, so that we can experience life in a calmer, clean, and centered way. And Belinda takes people on these wonderful retreats to swim with the dolphins, and the stories that she'll impart with us today is going to be absolutely beautiful. It's on my bucket list to be with the dolphins. They are such beautiful, supreme creatures. And Belinda wrote this beautiful book as Find Your Frigging Joy. And you know what, folks? This is something we forget about. We're so busy living the intellectual life, the meaning of life, the this of life, that sometimes we forget. Just step into your frigging joy. Enjoy life, because that's what it's all about. So let's enjoy this show, and let's have some fun with the dolphins. Let's dive in and swim with them and have the experience. So welcome to the show, Christina, Athella, and Belinda.
Oh, I love that. Oh yeah, it's delicious. Thank you.
It's freaking delicious.
Yes. Well, you know, around that topic of frigging joy, you know, when you look at dolphins, they are clearly in their frigging joy. You know, there is a beautiful video I've put here on the posting, and it's of fishermen who put a submerged camera, and it's the dolphins are all coming up knowing there's a camera there, and it's almost like selfies. They're there swimming and performing, almost waving their fins and saying, hi, we're here. And they are, as you said, Belinda, such beautiful interactive creatures, and they know how to have joy. And even that lesson
they know how to play. We play with them in Hawaii. We take leaves out there, and we throw the leaf down, and it's whoever gets it first. It's a game. It's like throwing a ball to a puppy. These dolphins love to catch the leaves and bring them back to us so that we can throw them at them again. And it's delicious. It's so much fun. They get you to dive deeper to wherever the leaf is going. So if you don't think you can do it, they'll make sure that they know you can. Oh. And it's wonderful. They taught me how to swim because I was afraid of the water. Yes. And so they recruited me in the dream time. They kept coming in my dreams and teaching me how to swim. There was no way otherwise I would go out in that water because I was afraid of it all my life.
What a beautiful gift they gave you.
Beautiful gift. I have to say that really strikes a chord for me. Here in the Yucatan and our retreats, the dolphins that are our resident teachers, that's what we call them here, they're the beings that appear when it's funny. They'll appear right at the moment where we're doing some sort of meditation, some sort of joyful dance, right at dawn, sunset, and it's not all the time. So as we're kayaking out, we of course let our participants know that there's no guarantee, of course, that they'll be out here. But as they're popping up, as they're swimming around, it's always in the name of play. It's always playful. Mm-hmm. And it's just amazing to me too. Our participants, a lot of them come, as it so happens, with fear of water. It just ends up being like that: fear of swimming, fear of water. fear of getting in the ocean, not being able to see your body while you're submerged, or any combination of those things. And I believe, Belinda, you said something priceless here, is that they're able to connect with our energy, whether it be in the dream world or in some other way, but they're able to connect with our energy and then guide us and help us to feel safe.
Exactly. I'm always amazed. I mean, when that happened to me, I never had dolphins or whales on my radar, and they started coming into my mindset and then invading all the dream time. So I'd wake up having this desire to go out and be with them, but I thought, but I don't want to get in the water, but I want to go see the dolphins.
Yes.
But my desire to see the dolphins finally surpassed my fear of the water. And so I was able to go in there and get their downloads and start. This was over 20 years ago. I've been swimming with them for over 20 years now.
Oh. And how many of them are still the same dolphins? I don't know the lifespan of dolphins.
Well, the older ones still come around. You can tell by some of their markings. And the babies are born. When I go in August, usually there's new births all the time. And, you know, they come and they go, but you feel the familiarity of some of them that you've helped before, because there was one dolphin I remember that I helped him get a remora off, because they listen to our thoughts. They know our thoughts before we even think them, and then they give us back the answers in like a hologram. And this one fish was just leeching onto this dolphin, and I had thought, I said, I can help you take that off. And he was out about 100 yards away, and he spun around and came back right in front of my face with this fish flapping in front of me.
Yes.
And I did some Huna symbols, and one of them is to remove earth energy, pesky earth energy, and that remora let go, and the dolphin was ecstatic. He just kept swirling around me and jumped up in the air, and it was such a validation that they know our thoughts. You can ask them questions, and they just are their brains are just much more developed.
Oh, they're smarter than humans. Absolutely.
Well, they're divine smarter than humans, right? That's the thing.
That's what I was just going to say. Yes.
Because they're ultimate channelers.
Yes.
And they know then how to actually, channel into what you're thinking or you're saying, as you said, in even getting into your dream world. And then they know how to be interactive with that communication. And it's like, as you said, you know what they're saying. There doesn't have to be this language or verbal language. There is that beautiful channel language between you, and you know what that communication is.
Well, they don't have the beta self-talk that humans have. They're in a theta and alpha state, so they're already in this meditative state. And they see us as in discord, because we have all our angst and our things that, we're chatting about. So they want to sonar us and move that away. So your heart just opens automatically when you're with them. You're in this absolute unconditional love. And it's dangerous, because whoever you're next to, you're going to fall in love with them.
I have a comment there, but I'm going to restrain it.
Oh yeah, I have some stories about that one.
I would think too, Belinda, that would also apply with ourselves, and that is why they're the healers. So we're falling in love with the self, with the truth, not the ego self, it's like the true self, our essence, falling in love again, rekindling our own inner love. As you say beautifully, they're in that theta, alpha state of the divine. It's like direct connection to divine all the time, channeling all the time. And as Athella points out, these creatures didn't even originate from this planet. They're our teachers. I believe they're guiding us towards our true nature, and then the more that we can interact with them, and I think we should go into that, by the way, the more that we can interact with them, even if you're not in an area where you can swim with them and be in the physical sense with them, but how you can include them into your day-to-day so that you're really tuned in. You're channeling their energy. It's an opener. It's a portal. It's something that we can align ourselves with, and they're just awesome for letting us be who we are, allowing us to be who we are, and then connecting back to their energy. So healing. So healing.
Could I actually say
well,
that
I
they
look
probably
at them
help us
too, and
discover
I
who
always
we are?
remind my.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry.
Sorry,
Go
I
ahead.
just wanted to allowing us to be who we are. I would say discovering who we are, shedding
That's
light
true.
on who we really are. Because we don't allow ourselves to see ourselves as we really are. And I think that they shed that light on us to see who we really are.
That's very true. I'm always reminded when they come up to take a breath, it's about every 7 minutes, and they will die if they don't take that breath. And we as humans, we forget to breathe up to the top of our heads to our higher selves. We forget to take that divine breath, that ha breath, that deep breath that the dolphins take. So I'm always reminded to do that deep breathing, to be like a dolphin, and every 7 minutes to take that deep breath, and that connects us to our higher self.
A good lesson to learn.
Yeah, they're amazing. Last year I had a dolphin jump over my head, and his flipper practically went in my face as it was flying over me.
That is so fun.
I just laughed. I wouldn't have laughed if it had really collided, but they usually know their sonar is so, so acute that they don't run into us.
Yes. These sensitive beings, they're, as I say before, not of this planet,
Right.
and you can call them alien or whatever word works for you. It would be really cool to discover, I think, here and now, to discover how we can channel these beings at a distance, because if you're listening to this, and I can hear people say, well, I can't swim with dolphins, it's on my quote-unquote bucket list, as Sarah, you mentioned. Mm-hmm. So how do we tune into these beings if they're not readily available in the physical? And I don't mean by like going out to go to places like SeaWorld, and I'm I just think that that's really important to say too. Is that, Belinda? It's my understanding that you work with you are being in a state of being with the dolphins as they are in their own natural environment. Isn't that correct?
We only swim with the wild dolphins.
Yes.
So I channel them from here, from home.
Right.
I speak to them in my room. As soon as a client signs up with me, I start telling them about that person and where will be the best day to swim that will make them feel the most comfortable. I start, because remember, there's no boundaries in earth and time, and with time and space. So you can talk to them anywhere. You can tune in. I have dolphin pictures all over my house, so I'm always reminded. I'm constantly, communicating with them on an etheric level. Yeah. And when I get to Hawaii, it just comes into play that's exactly what they will do. They'll come to the bay that we are going to be the most comfortable in, because there are about 3 bays that we swim in. The one in front of our house is a little bit more advanced because it's a longer swim.
Yes, that's ours as well. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so I don't allow anybody to go through that until I've seen how they act in the ocean and in the water and with their snorkel gear. Right. So the other bay is 2 steps and you're in. It's the City of Refuge, and it's a very small bay and easier to get in. And if the dolphins aren't there, there's beautiful fish to see and turtles, and the turtles are magnificent because they also teach us to go with the flow, to just say, don't fight anything, just go with the flow. So there's always something to learn and something to just behold in this amazing world that we have. And the water is just inviting us to come in. I can't believe I say that, because the first half of my life I avoided water.
Yes.
I'm a water conduit. Water is so important to me. And I was actually just thinking last night as I opened up my channel to, where I'm putting a pin in to go next. And, it's like water. I have to be near a body of water. I don't always have to swim in it, but I have to be near that body of it because it's my conduit, it's my energy. And I was just looking at the difference between ocean and rivers. And I find that the ocean has very deep mysteries, but the current is always moving. Its energy is always very forceful. And so when you are on the ocean or in the ocean, it's always washing away things and rejuvenating. When you're in a lake, I feel that you're submerged in deep wisdom. And I'm one of these people that can literally just lay on the water and go to sleep. And when I'm lying on a lake, I just feel all that divine wisdom, and you're generally around mountains and things like that, and I can just feel the history of knowledge go through me. When I'm actually in the ocean, it's more like a rejuvenation and a washing away. So it's just the different type of things that either water body is going to give you.
It's amazing. This last year, I took a tour with my partner, and we went to the waterfalls around the other side of the island, and we had a chance to swim at one of the rainbow falls. And I was all excited, and I just didn't have any fins or snorkel. I just thought I'd go right in the water and swim out to the rocks, and I practically sunk.
The current.
I had never swum in clear water before because, again, my fear was of the ocean or anything, and so I learned how to swim in the saltwater ocean, which holds you up so beautifully. Yes. And it's effortless. And I got into this, and it was like I was
Look.
I was really astonished and embarrassed and said, I can't swim. No, I because I'm not a really great swimmer, but I have saved people out there before. Oh. My angels have come in and helped me, and I had one person who was a gentleman, and he thought he was fine, and then he got out there and he heard the dolphins, and he thought they were sharks.
Oh, no.
And for some strange reason, he panicked and threw his mask off and almost was having a heart attack. So I had to bring him in. And that was an amazing example for me that I could do something like that when myself was not, the greatest swimmer.
It just shows what we're capable of doing when we need to do it.
Right.
And with the dolphins helping with that energy, going back again to the dolphins, the energy there, you hear these stories, these amazing stories of these phenomenal occurrences that happen while we're in the presence of dolphins. But as also you pointed out, Belinda, there is no need to be in the physical presence of the dolphins. We can channel them from a distance, from wherever we are, and that we can tap into this playful, free. It's just free, playful energy, and allow them to impart their wisdom. To channel their energy on a day-to-day basis. And that's why they're here. That's the purpose of their presence here now. And
they're
so
holding up the planet for us.
Exactly.
Yeah,
they really hold, and when the whales come, they go out and they confer with the whales and say, "What are we going to do now?" They come.
What are we going to do with these humans?
Yes.
I think they're having a lot of conferences. Yes, it's like, oh my God, can you believe what they just did? Yes.
No. Oh, it's terrible. But they won't give up on us. I think they'll stay true and hope that we will wake up sometime as a collective consciousness, because that's what it is. It's a collective consciousness. Yes. When I watch them swim as a pod, nobody fights to be the leader. One person leads, and it's so graceful, and it's so just synchronistic. And I'm just reminded, if we could all get along like that as a pod, we would be in such a higher place.
They don't have the egos that get in the way. That's the thing, isn't it? It's that they are truly the village, they're truly a community, and they truly have love and value for each other.
And there's no competition energy to be had. There really is. That's not even in the consciousness, really. It's like just a pure a pure connectedness to divine, a pure connection to source that's unfettered. And if you just simply even listen to dolphins, if you get on YouTube, that's one thing that we've said in the past, recommending to get onto YouTube. You can see they emanate light.
Yeah.
The light emanating is unfettered by ego. Dolphin has no problem. There's no problem. Yes. Well, but even in the moment, Belinda, like in the moment, let's just say that's a situation that's arising in that moment. There is a total sense. There's a presence there. There's a beingness. And whereas with humans, when something comes up and we get entrenched in ego, it's all a problem, and the problem, it's always a problem that can't be solved, and it's either involving future or past or, and really taking away from our beingness. I think I know that the dolphins, they don't exist in that way. They have the beingness, and where there are no problems. So the more that we can channel that, it is uplifting, that the global consciousness is the collective consciousness.
Every time I have gone to swim with dolphins, every single time I come home with more clarity. I come home with answers to my problems, or what I thought were problems, and it's always
yes.
Next step. It's just an addiction that I have to go. They're my elixir.
Yeah,
phenomenal.
And, all this dolphin talk right now and me kind of putting in a pin where I need to go, as I said to Christina in our call earlier, that I have to be near a body of water. As I said, water is so important to me. But, it's been on my bucket list forever to be with dolphins. I met Flipper. I don't know if you remember Flipper back in the 70s. There was a movie on Flipper.
Yeah.
And Flipper was brought over to South Africa, and I went to see Flipper perform, and it was at the end of it, everybody had kind of cleared away, and I was still there, and I just walked up to Flipper, the edge of the pool, and Flipper came from the other side of the pool and just came across and kissed me, and somebody captured it. And somebody captured it. Somewhere I have that photo still, but I don't need to have it. It's still very clear in my mind. And I just leant across, and it came up and just gave me a beautiful kiss, and it was just just so wonderful. And it was kind of kissing my spirit, reminding me of my spirit.
Right, and come join me.
Yes,
that's what he.
Yes,
come join me. Play with me.
Yes,
play with me.
Yeah.
Come to Hawaii.
Yes.
In August. 19th to the 25th and the 26th to the September 1st. It's waiting for you.
Yes, it is waiting for me. And I said on my list, so, whatever's got to happen to make me there, I'm there, right? It has to happen. And, that's again, we're also talking about what we're feeding. And, our ego, our anxiety, like the guy suddenly, he's there to swim with the dolphins. And instead of seeing dolphins, he sees sharks. And so we see the fear that we're most afraid of instead of seeing the solution that is right there before us. And it's do you remember when Jaws first came out, the movie? Right?
Of course, yes.
Now I'm in South Africa, and of course we don't have TV, so it's only kind of music and advertising is played on the radio. And if you remember the music, durum, 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 right?
Who can forget that?
Exactly. I'm swimming out in the ocean, and I've actually gone a bit too far. My friends were meant to pick me up on the boat, but the current was too strong and they couldn't. So I'm lying there in the water and thinking, okay, I need to get my energy back and I'll swim back in. And I'm just lying there and I'm gently swimming back into the water, and I start feeling things swim underneath me, touch me and swim underneath me. And I'm just thinking, what's that? I'm not afraid. And all of a sudden that damn music started playing in my head. And all it is durum, durum. All I know is attached to a shark. And all of a sudden there's the panic, and I start swimming like crazy to go back in, and my adrenaline was so high. And it's amazing how we allow our minds to trick us.
Well, I know. Well, Steven Spielberg said that he wouldn't get in the water for like 10 years after he made that film. And I still shouldn't be allowed in the water.
Dear.
But, so I've had one experience with a shark in all the 20 some odd years, and I was playing with the dolphins, and it was the morning I was supposed to take a flight back home, and I thought, okay, one more swim, and so we're out there and we're playing the leaf game, and all of a sudden I get a nudge on my shoulder, a bump, and this dolphin had just bumped me, and I looked straight ahead, and there was a shark coming right at me. And almost immediately, I didn't even have time to think, but the dolphins just circled me.
Yes.
And it didn't let the shark in. The shark went down below, and my mind went not into fear, but almost like, that poor guy, he doesn't have anybody to play with. He's probably jealous that all these guys are here and he's all by himself, the lone predator. That's really where my mind went.
Right.
But I got out of the water, I'll tell you that.
But isn't it funny that, dolphins, which are completely and utterly love creatures, they're love and joy creatures, there's nothing else about them, but how sharks respect that and actually fear them. It's really quite incredible.
Yeah.
Because they don't attack the sharks, do they?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
They don't attack sharks.
No, they'll protect the young. That's all they're there for, to protect the young. When they go out to feed at night, sharks do kind of try to, I guess, get into their face because they have a lot of marks on them, cookie cutter shark marks. Yeah. And, it looks like they do get into some hassles. So I don't know, maybe they're fighting for the right salmon. I don't know what they're fighting for. When it comes to
that
feeding,
filet salmon is
that's
mine.
A different story.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen that wonderful video of a dog that goes down to the waters and then jumps onto a dolphin's back and goes for a ride.
Yeah.
I mean, it's...
Yeah, no, I have seen
I'm
that.
so envious of that dog. Yes.
They come out and swim with the dolphins, these dogs.
Yes.
Very much on paddle boards, and then they jump into the water, and then they go back on the paddle board. It's really cute.
Yes.
That's another thing, too, is like interaction with other animals. There is a video, I have seen this on YouTube, where there's a cat going to the end of what appears to be the pier, and then the dolphin coming up, and the cat is sort of touching it and batting at it, and then the dolphin puts its the very end where it can give a kiss, puts its very last part of the skin right on the cat for a kiss, and they have this interaction. I think it's really endearing and uplifting. Raise your vibration in 5 seconds kind of a thing.
Yes.
If you go and you see that, and you see that on YouTube, as you said, Belinda, earlier, you open your heart. Something is activated there.
Yes.
Yeah. No, it's just amazing. I love being with wild animals.
Yes.
I mean, to me, that's just one of the most endearing and most powerful places that you can be is, just looking in the eyes of a wild animal and being accepted by them. When I went on my 60th birthday, I went to Tonga to swim with the whales, the humpback whales, and getting in the water with these huge, enormous creatures. Yes. The eye was about as big as my body. and it would just scan me. It was just scanning me. And I was in tears. I was very emotional, and I just kept saying, I'm sorry for all the ill treatment that we've caused you in the past years. I'm just so sorry for the humans. On behalf of the humans, please accept my part. And I was just, whimpering in tears because it was so empowering to be next to these creatures that are so gentle. Yes. I mean, the mother was so gentle, and she allowed us to swim with her baby for almost an hour.
Wow.
It was just
a lifetime experience.
Yeah.
And when I came, we went to Antarctica recently with Athella and some of our crew to do filming in Antarctica, and on the Zodiacs. This was completely not planned, of course. It never is, these encounters. The humpback whales, they were following our ship basically the whole time, and we were out on Zodiac, and we could see these humpbacks from a very short distance. Of course, we didn't want to disturb them in any way, but there was complete silence, the kind of silence that is very rare, I think, in our culture. And all that you could hear was these kind of chuffing noises of these beautiful humpback whales, majestic. And there is a magical way, if you watch this, there's a magical way they'll actually lift up their tail and then it comes back down, and it looks 5D. It looks unreal to your eyes. It's and they're huge. They're just it's just something to take in. It's breathtaking, and it's an instant meditation. Everyone on that zodiac instantly channeling that, and even putting down their cameras. So it wasn't clickety click. It was
just being in the moment.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
feeling it.
Yeah. Just
well, you wouldn't go in the water there because that's Antarctica.
Yes,
right?
that was Antarctica. Although there were, we had suits. They fitted us up with suits, and we were under the awareness that if we were to get in the water, that we would not be in a hyperthermic state right away. That would be just fine, and that people have done it. So I was okay with that either way. That was a first-time experience for me. I've lived in Washington for many, many years and have seen whales and orcas, and but this was something different. Just a very close, intimate encounter where there's just nothing to say. It takes you into that 5D realm very quick.
Yes. Well, where I was swimming with them was Tonga, and it's you have permission to be in the water. It's not quite as tropical as Hawaii, but I had no wetsuit, and we just go in, we take turns, we don't crowd the whales. There's a whole protocol that the boats wait for your turn with them, and then it's another boat's turn, and you follow the instructions, and it's just amazing. It's just amazing.
Well, let's think about this for a moment. We're used to cats and dogs, which are also here to teach us how to be humans. But here we're looking at these massive creatures that could crush us in one split second. But instead they're there to teach us, to enlighten us, to open up that channel, to seeing ourselves from the inside out. But this is also being said of so many animals now. I say that the animals and the children are teaching us our humanity right now. They're helping us open up our channel into our consciousness, into what is right and what is wrong. And it is a very beautiful experience if we see it through the eyes of the animals. And look at how many animals are just so nurturing. I was with a homeless society yesterday, which I'm going to be doing a whole series on, and we were talking about dogs and the homeless. And for many of the people that are on the street, those dogs are the reason why they're alive. And those dogs will be with them through thick and thin, in with love and devotion and loyalty. And it's like, why cannot we not step into that beautiful love and that loyalty? Why do we think that we have to make everything so complicated? Because that's where we go screw ourselves up, this hierarchy of what we think is intelligence, when really the intelligence comes from that beautiful core of who we are that resonates with the heart and the spirit. Again, knowing what we need to know when we need to know it. If we trusted that and trust that we can learn from these beautiful species, I think there is the answer that we're all seeking. Learn to channel through the animals.
That's right. Tell that to our politicians and our government.
Yeah.
I mean, they're, again, it's a quest for power, and that comes from the ego. So,
yeah.
Yes.
And I'm afraid no swimming with dolphins is going to resolve it with them, unfortunately.
Well, you never know. You never know. I believe.
Disagree.
Always careful.
I
always
have an
Hold on,
opinion.
Belinda. This, we've got Athella now.
I am, and you are, the I am. Let us return to innocence. Each of the politicians, they are the same as you, with physical body, in the physical existence, and they were once children. Loving compassion, loving kindness, that will mean you will see these figures of perceived power, as children themselves. Visualize them, if you can, as babies, children, so that the heart will open and compassion
can be felt. An encounter, time spent with dolphins, helps to create the awakening. We can therefore invite them to play with the dolphins, with no objective at center, no expectation, only that it will feel good, and then see. These creatures from Sirius and from the water world, they are the ancients. They will zero in, scanning and tuning to any human who is open. So invite your leaders of perceived power. Invite them to swim and play, to dance with these creatures. That is good medicine for the illness, the insanity of ego. I love you.
Mm. Mm. Mm.
Oh. Thank you, Athella, and what she said just there about the insanity of the ego.
Mm-hmm.
And when
we also that we perceive people having power. Why do we give people power?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And as you said, they're all children inside, and that's very often where that insecurity and that ego comes forth from, is from the child calling out from the inside.
I enjoy this flow that we're in, this creative flow, and it's so loving. I think everyone listening to this, you can feel the love, and Belinda channeling those beautiful creatures that she's so close to, hearing those clicks, mm-hmm. hearing those sounds coming through human vocal cords. It doesn't even sound human. It's mm-hmm. so we can all listen to and take note of the energy. When Belinda, you were just doing that. It may seem to some people like ridiculous, like that's too weird or too woo-woo for me. Well, do it. Yes. It's fun. You'll be a kid again. Hear those sounds, the dolphin sounds, and then make some of your own and mm-hmm. see how you feel. Just notice how you feel. There's no embarrassment energy, no need to feel. That's just ego. Yes. You can get past that, and we can create a song. I think that's what we're doing here right now.
Wow.
And if that doesn't put a smile on your face, I don't know what will.
We found our friggin' joy.
Exactly.
Huh?
Right. Yes. But this is another thing, that the dolphins know how to be silly. Where did we like our permission to be silly? Right? Being silly is...
I love being silly.
Yeah, exactly. It's... like I'm always being silly, and it's like anybody says to me, act my age, what age is that? Because I'm a few thousand years old. I don't know, which age do you want me to be?
And it's not any of their business what you want to be. It's just your business.
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Sarah and we were just talking about that, Belinda, just before going on air. We were talking about the number one, the relationship that is primary has got to be with ourselves. Mm-hmm. And that's not selfish. That's not the ego state. That's simply your business is taking care of you first, and it's got to include some silliness, some play, because you'll free yourself up. You really free yourself up when you're willing to play and be silly and yeah.
Be with children, be with animals.
Yes.
And I think the more that you love yourself, the more you're able to love others, because you can't love others unless you love yourself first.
That's right.
It's that resonance of love that you're exuding out. You want love, be the love. And, and you want to be loved. And then love yourself in a light that others will love you in.
Yes.
And we've got to understand that nobody is going to come along and pour love or anything on us to make us who we are. That is an inside job. There is nobody that can do it for you. They can aid you. They can support you. They can give you the tools. But you're here in this life's journey to embrace your inner light and shine it out. That's your job. That's what you're here to do. And you can make it fun or you can make it difficult. It's up to you, right?
Amen. Our woman, our life.
Yes, exactly.
Our two. Oh, don't get me started now.
And that's such a beautiful point here, too, is laughter, just for the sake of laughing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, letting your sillies out.
Yes.
Right? It's just
It
having
increases the Valium. It increases the Valium inside your body, and the interleukin-2. There's a chemical that pharmacists sell to cancer patients that costs about $40,000 for one treatment, and it's interleukin-2. And your body creates that when it gets excited and happy. Like going on a roller coaster, if you like roller coasters, and anything that just brings you supreme joy, your body is creating millions of dollars of interleukin-2.
You're manufacturing it yourself. There was a cancer guy who switched off from the world and went home and just watched one funny movie after the other and came out the other end cancer-free.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I watch something funny before I go to bed every night.
Yeah.
I have to laugh before I go to bed.
That's great.
I watch Friends. I don't know. It'll
My
make
mother
me
was
laugh. How
addicted
you
to that.
doing?
Yes.
How you doing?
Yeah, see? I don't know. It's silly, but it just makes me laugh.
That's so cool. I mean, good on you. And anyone listening to that, so you can find your own what's going to make you laugh before you go to bed. And that you stay away from, newspapers or anything that's on the opposite end of the spectrum. That's the stuff that you're taking to sleep with you. And the same thing goes for first thing in the morning. One of my favorite things for a while was listening to Louise Hay's morning meditation. And she says in there, I begin my day with a song, and you can hear the song. And so whatever gets your juices flowing and gets that incredible, roller coaster feeling, the whee, and the giggles and the laughter for no reason at all, that just do it for yourself.
Yep. You got to get up every morning with a smile on your face and show the world all the love in your heart, right? That's what we got to do.
Yes.
Oh, that's great.
And of course, what does it for me is animal things. It just, watching. I mean, just now somebody posted a video of putting little booties on this golden retriever for the snow, and there is this dog lifting his feet up in every which shape, trying to shake them off. Of what do I do with these things?
Yeah, exactly. What have the humans subjected me to today?
Exactly. Right. And it's just, or a Frenchie jumping into this mistress's bath, all bubble salts and everything else and going completely nuts. If you can't smile or you can't laugh at that, then who are you? And this is what they're there for. They're there to lift our spirits in their beautiful, wonderful silliness. They're there to bring a smile to our face. And there's so many smiles to be had. And you just may have to look for them a little bit, right?
That's right. That's right. They're there everywhere.
Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful.
I think it's just creating the habit of doing that, and the habit of making the primary, the order of the day, that it be joy above all other things. Making the habit of laughter.
Yes.
As Belinda, you were saying, I got to go to bed. I got to go to bed laughing, before I go and drift off into the deep sleep. And then, of course, we travel when we dream. So gearing ourselves up, really taking the journey and doing it with love in your heart, with contentment. That's just a habit that Belinda has created. So everyone can start a habit. It takes, what is it? I don't know, remind me, ladies, is it 21 days, 40 days to create a new habit? Something like that?
21, I think it is.
21.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like...
Conscious, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So making that consciousness into truth for you by setting the intention that you're going to start and end your day with joyful giggles, laughter, whatever it happens to be. And YouTube is a great, instrument for that. It's like getting on there, seeing those visual images and laughing, even seeing other people laughing. Science shows us that is.
You remember, I don't know if you had it here in North America, but in England we used to have the penny and the laughing machine. And then there would be just this stuffed head going, ha, 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 ha. And you couldn't help but laugh along with it. And people would pay a penny to have a laugh, right?
Well, just tickle somebody.
Yes,
that'll get somebody going.
Yeah. A friend of mine is in Mexico right now, and 3 years ago, after my mum died, she said, I missed your 60th birthday. Your mum's just died. I want to take you to Mexico on a trip. Talk about besties. And we stayed at this most beautiful place that her friend has an apartment there. And it's on the 9th floor. And when you look out, all you do is see sea to sky. And we left the doors open all the time with the sound of the waves on the beach. And she's in Mexico right now, and she's saying, do you have any of those photographs? And I did an article on it. And as I sent her that article and looked through those pictures again, I remembered the joy. I remembered the feeling of the water, the crash of the sounds on the rocks, the smell of the sea. And it just took me back there again. And folks, this is what memories are about. Go and revisit them, and you will relive that wonderful experience again.
Well, you can have I go to sleep every night with the sound of the waves in the ocean.
Yes.
I have an ocean wave sound right next to my bed. I can't sleep without the sound of the waves.
Right. As do I. Belinda, you and I share the same kind of setup. The golf is steps away from the back door. My room is set up so that the waves are right there, and you have that. I use that as my meditation too, actually.
Yeah.
Just immediately going back, following the ebb and flow, that sound. Fantastic.
That's right. Yeah, no, and I walk the wharf a lot, but I play Pokemon, so I get for Pokemon among the sea lions, and then barking at the sea lions. They're very funny. They're not dolphins, but they're funny, and the otters are there, and it's a lovely place.
And of course, I go walking to trees, and they answer me. I remember walking down an avenue of trees once, and they were rustling away like crazy. And I said, "Will you be quiet? I can't hear myself think." And the trees stopped, almost in apology, and then just a little shimmer. And it's like, "I'm sorry, we were having," And the thing is they are beautiful. Living creatures, these trees. They have this most wonderful matrix, and those leaves are the chatter, and it's so beautiful. It's the same with the wind, as the water is in our cleansing. The wind is another beautiful way of blowing things away and rejuvenating you and refreshing you, and it's so wonderful. Nature has all the answers.
That's right.
Sure Absolutely. Does. Yep.
Tell somebody who's depressed to go take a walk in nature, and they will quickly reverse their feelings.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Or tickle a puppy, or play with a baby. Something that that takes you away from yourself, right?
Exactly.
And we didn't come from electronics. We came from, we're a part of Earth.
Yes.
That's right.
Yeah.
Gosh, what happened to us? What happened to us?
We're mammals. We're part of the earth. We're part of all. We're interconnected. We're energy, and we have to have that sustenance every day. Athella says, "Go outside." It's very simple. Go outside. Be in nature. Commune with a plant that you've got in your office. Drink a glass of water and be mindfully aware that you're drinking water, which is you. You are the water. And any number of these things, but that you're connecting every day to who you truly are. We've gotten caught up in the buildings, on the electronics. Yes. Not that they're bad, it's just simply that this is where we've evolved to, and we need to, at some point in the day, pull the plug and get away from all that. Take the phone and put it down and be in nature.
Even if you're in a city, right? You can find something somewhere. You know?
Yeah, I've got a lot of clients in New York City, metropolitan Chicago, where it's like they just have a pad of grass on their terrace.
Yes.
Yeah, or something.
Yep.
And the rest is just city, city, city. However, the oxygen that we breathe, no one created that. No factory. That didn't come from a factory. That's not electronic based. Right. That oxygen is pure, and that we can just be mindful of breathing in, knowing that our oxygen is fueling the rest of our body. We can feel that. We can just become aware of our oxygen that we're taking into the body and commune with that. Mm-hmm. You can do that if you're in prison. You know what I mean?
That visualization too, isn't it? Is if you're in a situation, you can visualize yourself out of it and take yourself into another dimension altogether. I do it all the time.
That's channeling.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So with Belinda, with the Dolphins and how many years that you've been doing this, can you give us a story of somebody who really has stayed with you, their interaction, and what it did to them, that, one of those ones that really has stayed with you?
Oh my gosh. Well, I've had several people who have been with me 4 and 5 times. They've come on my trips. And this one lady came from the Midwest, and she was afraid of everything, afraid of flying, afraid of, just being with people, and she made herself come on this trip, afraid of the water. She's been she came a couple years ago again, the 5th time, and I said, do you see how far you have come? You're out swimming in the ocean without any boogie board, no protection, just yourself. And she's become happier. She's more in touch with her job. She got a better job. She's calmer. She's more peaceful.
Sorry, getting some background noise on the other side there. Something going. Okay, go ahead.
Just the transition of her being more in charge of herself and not letting the fear just overwhelm her like it was in the beginning. It's just beautiful to see, and I have seen that with so many people. I have one lady she went on my very first dolphin trip 20 years ago, and she still talks about it today. That was the best trip she'd ever gone in her life.
Yeah.
Because it was funny because she didn't know how to pee in the ocean either. She didn't know how to let go.
Yes.
How?
Talking,
but it's huge.
Yes.
You have to let go.
Yeah, exactly. And that literally let go. Yeah.
Right, to literally let go. I want to also. I hope it's okay for me to put this in as well. I want to piggyback on top of what you just said, Belinda, and share too the clients that have worked with Athella that have come here, not at my other retreats in the U.S., which have been based in. On the base of volcanoes and in the forest, in Oregon, Washington, California, in the desert. But here specific to Yucatan and in the Gulf of Mexico, there have been a lot, actually most, now that I'm thinking about it, most of the retreat participants coming with fear of water, fear of outside circumstances, fear of flying in airplanes, Of course, fear of the dolphin teachers themselves and the rays. There are quite a few rays here as you're walking out in the water, rocks and things, and the waves themselves, and just folks that they're contracted. They literally arrive and they're in a contraction state. You can see it on them. Right. And then upon coming back to themselves, learning what it feels like to be in their own presence. And then we cover these concepts of channeling, and we do it in nature. We combine fitness and body movements. We're all vegan here, so it's all vegan fare, and we're able to connect with their guides. They take that, and we go to the water, and we learn so much from the water itself, and also the interaction with all of the creatures within the sea. There's something that happens here. People instantly, the clients that I've seen here, they learn how to swim very quickly, if not immediately, very quickly, and the fear dissolves. I don't think I know that's not coincidence. No. I believe that they're altered in so many ways that then they come away, they're able to manifest in their career, they're able to shift in their relationships, they feel more centered with themselves, and they're able to create spaciousness around any fears that come up, if at all, because of course the fear dissolves once that light presence comes in. So I think we've had similar experiences, Belinda, and you're continuing on. You're doing this. You said 20 years you've been doing this.
Yeah, my 20th year. My 20th year, and I just wanted to add, fear is not even real.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's false.
It's an emotion. Yeah.
Real.
Yes.
So once you allow that to be dissolved, it goes away, just like the illusion that it is, and then what's left is your brilliance, your light, present time. Then you can start creating things in the present time. So.
I mean, that's what dolphins see, isn't it? That's what they see in us. They don't see any of this fear. They don't see any of our problems. They don't see any of the ego. They see that light that is within us, and they go in and they switch it on, and they open up our channels. And when we open up those channels and we start seeing life for what it really is and who we're really meant to be and our contribution to this planet, then it just all makes sense, and you can just follow that channel and follow that path. There was another video I watched which was rather extraordinary, and it was a couple swimming with the dolphins, and they film it, etc., for their experience. And this dolphin would not leave this girl alone. It was kind of around the crutch area the whole time, and it didn't go any further to the story. But I know that dogs and even cats can smell if there's something wrong with somebody. And I'm sure that the dolphins must sense something as well. So have you ever seen anybody, a reaction like that from a dolphin where it's been predominant over a certain part of the body?
Right. I had a client who came, and she was in her 4th stage of cancer, and we were out in the ocean, and the one big dolphin came in, and he just kind of took over this woman, and he flapped his fluke so that nobody would get near them. It was just him and this woman swimming side by side. Wow. She was just shooken. She was so shaken to the core when she got out, and just in tears, but absolutely mesmerized by the companionship of the dolphin. And she said it made her lose all her fear of whatever would happen. She did pass the following year, but she never forgot that.
Right.
And her said that was the most amazing experience she'd ever had in her life.
Right.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
It reminds me of since we're telling stories, sharing stories, which is there are things that have occurred in the past, and we dip into past, and then we come back to present time. I think I want to make that movement clear, because we're present beings and we're able to stay present. I want to share a story then about a similar situation where a family had come round, decided to circle around a beloved mom, and that she was in hospice care at the time, but even that, for her, it was beyond needing or wanting hospice. It was more, I want to take a journey, I want to take a trip, and I want to do it with my family. And so as we were here in nature, as we were gathered together, the experiences here, even just with the setting of the sun, and having that be the meditation, having that be the primary focal point. But there were dolphin teachers available. They were everywhere. This individual wasn't, though, at a place where they could get in the water, and it didn't even matter at that point to them. There was a sense of complete dissolving of any fear. You could literally see it slip off of this individual, and there was just nothing but light. There was light shining through the eyes. You can see it on people just like the dolphins do. Yeah. There's the total, complete absence of fear and light. And this individual, transitioned very quickly and with ease. Her family informed me later on, and it was at the perfect moment. And there were no sensations of fear. There was no tremble, no fear at that point. So what a gift that our dolphin friends give us, and that the ocean and the elements give us, if we are willing, it's really a willingness, if we're willing to step outside our door and to go and explore and to be immersed in that.
Yeah.
And on the other side of that, they love to help birth babies.
So
not only people passing, they are the original birth mothers. They just go right to someone who is pregnant, or they know of someone who's pregnant, and they sonar that baby so that it can come out with more compassion. It can come out breathing better. I mean, they're the wet nurse of the ocean.
Right. The midwife. Yeah, that makes complete sense. And have you been witness to that, Belinda? Have you seen a live birth accompanied with the dolphin friends?
I've seen a live birth of a dolphin, but not of the child. There was a woman staying next door to us, and she would go out. She was ready to birth this child, and she went out every day, but it just didn't happen. She would go out with her husband. It just wasn't happening. I think it happened in the middle of the night.
Right. Those babies, they choose when they want to come out and how. Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
But it is such an honor to witness and to see that little baby, and they have to get the baby to come up and to take a breath right away.
Right.
Because, again, they're mammals.
Yes.
And then they really form a thick pod around the mother, and because there's blood around, and
right, of course,
attracts other critters. But it is it's amazing. We stayed very quiet as a group one year when they were doing this birthing, and then the mother and the baby came over to us. The mother showed the baby to us, and you feel like you've just been baked. Like you've been baked. And you're just kind of, I just know when I've had enough, and I just say to myself, all right, I'm baked, I'm going in now.
Yeah.
It's just overwhelming, the experience, and you just want to keep that, and it stays with you forever.
You mentioned something a little while ago about the sonar. The sonar is that channeling, the way that they can see in. And it's that if we got out of our own way and took away those parameters that we put around us and open up our channels and allow, our own sonars to pick up what's going on, is, again, we only use a fraction of our brain. We only use a fraction of our instincts. When we actually do step into that divine trust and that divine knowingness, and we step into that channeling, there is no question, there is no doubt, there is no worry, there is no concern. But why is it as human beings that we seem to fall back into the other vibrations? So, I think being around such beautiful mammals that are there to teach us, there to show us how to stay in our sonar, how to stay in our channeling, how to stay in that moment and take it with us, is one of the lessons that we need to do. It's not just an experience to have and remember. It's an experience to have to carry you forward in everything else that you do.
Yes.
It becomes you.
Yes.
You become dolphin. You become a member of the pod.
Yep. Yep.
You're a member of the gang.
Yeah, be a dolphin. And
Yeah.
if it seems so far-fetched or far out there for some, because we're all at a different stage of our own evolution, I would recommend too is like chiming into the sounds of dolphins and channel that. Be a dolphin for a day.
Yeah.
Take a day where you are, you want to try something different, something fun, and listen to those sounds. Watch a few videos of dolphins. Or, take an adventure, take a trip and literally go out and seek that opportunity to swim with a dolphin, to be in a direct encounter. That it's not you're not trying, you are it, and that you channel this dolphin energy and that you take it with you. You can bring to it, it's like what we were talking about before, you can bring to your channeling any problem that might be coming up for you. Rather than, we do have two choices. We can we can ascend into our true nature, and we can channel these beautiful beings that we have available to us, or we can live out of ego, and one of them leads to suffering and the other one does not. So right. I think that it would be great for everyone to have that in the toolkit, is the channeling the dolphin energy and to be dolphin.
And whether you're in a city, right? You are like very much at what another guest has done. It's called Daniel the Dolphin, and it's the Ocean Guardians. And they've done this most beautiful animated movie, and it's an educational 3D adventure film for the whole family, inspired by best-selling novelist Sergio Barberin. And it's this couple have taken it and put it into a most beautiful video, and it's all about the dolphins. It's about the sea world. It's about the ocean guardians. And so whether you are actually in the ocean or not, or near a dolphin, there are so many things out there that can become that education, where you can channel and tap in. As you said, you dreamt of the dolphins before you went there. So introducing people to the sea world, which so many people just don't know anything about, can open up those channels and allow those dolphins in, right?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
You speak truth. You speak very good truth.
Yes.
Yeah.
Truth speaker, Sarah. Yeah. It's like the channeling that happens, and without having to call it anything.
Right.
What you just shared is very true and wise. That many of us have become cut off from the magic of the ocean, from the dolphin energy, and haven't tapped into it. So if you've tried there's that word again. If you tried other methods, other types of channeling or healing modalities, and this is still something that you haven't explored, then you can take that with you, and perhaps that's a missing link. Perhaps that's something that has been missing for you. And don't underestimate the dolphins.
Don't ever underestimate the dolphins. You don't ever. They are supreme creatures. They are living in that beautiful divine light. They are it. They don't know how to be anything else. Aspire to be a dolphin.
Oh, yes.
I want to go now. I think I'm going to go.
I know. And I'm so envious of Christina, because she could just go out and have a chat right now with them.
That's right.
But being is a whole different scenario when you're in the water and you're eye to eye with them, and just connecting on that level where they open up a portal and you go through and you disappear. You disappear in these portals. I've seen some amazing ET experiences in the water. And,
yes.
Yeah, hard to even talk about it, because it's just, anyway.
It is, and ET. I just think that's so that really only eclipses. It's such a great word, and yet we are talking about things in higher dimensions. So it's impossible for us with our language to really even eclipse what it is that we're discovering, or that we're feeling, that we're being in that moment. Suffice to say that do it and be it, and then
when you see things that they have no explanation,
right?
Because because you don't see lights like this in the human world. They're lights that exist in another dimension. And that's what I'm talking about, is just
Well, they're in
seeing some of the-
knowingness. They're in knowingness. Knowingness doesn't need to be validated. It doesn't need to be explained. It is. All that you need
Right.
to know in knowingness is what you need to know, and it is the truth. And
Those friggin' lights. The friggin'
exactly.
lights.
Yeah, exactly. That's where the joy comes from, is in that knowingness. I don't need to explain it, validate or anything. It just is. It is my warmth, my light, my joy, my truth. And it's a beautiful place to be. They're in it all the time. As human beings, we go in and out it all the time because we allow things to distract us, to pull us away from being that beautiful channeling of knowingness.
Ah.
You get to find it in the ocean where we swim with the, you'll find those lights.
Yeah. And then it's how to
Yeah.
keep the light on within you afterwards. It's not just...
That's right.
Right? It's how to
That's-
keep
that's
that
right.
channel open, because that's the
Yes.
experience. It's not just to have a good memory. It's to have that channel open and stay open and pay attention to that channel, because then it will never let you down. The knowingness does not know how to lie. The dolphins do not know how to lie. The supreme divine energy does not know how to lie. It's not in its vocabulary. It is just truth. We're the ones that keep looking for the lie in something. That is our own insecurity, our own ego.
Yes. Ego does a great job of the ego shadow. I think it's exactly what I love what you said, Sarah, and Belinda, you as well. We're all channeling on the same frequency here. The ego shadow being very conniving, very very
Manipulative.
cunning.
Yeah.
Yes. It's very seductive and can take us to these places and take us out of pure light and our pure beingness. And when we see the dolphins, when we see them visually with our eyes, when we hear them, or even when we're channeling that energy, we tap into this pure consciousness where none of that shadow, that ego shadow, even exists. So I think it's just, if like Belinda said, she's got pictures of dolphins all over her environment, do that.
Keep the channel open.
That's right. Exactly. That's how you do it. Yeah.
So when are you coming on my trip, Sarah?
Oh, divine willing, I should be there in August, for sure.
Okay.
And I put it out to the divine energy, and right now I'm about to flap in the wind again, as it's too darn cold in Toronto. I've been done, it's now the next place, and I want to go somewhere that can warm my very bones. But I know that the next few years for me is all going to be about dipping into different places, to leave my mark, to fortitude myself, to be able to go out and do what we need to do. And I think that's sometimes what we have to do, is let go of our roots and just say, I'm willing to take these leaps and wherever I'm meant to be next, and channel that. Channel. I'm in that channeling phase right now. Don't know where I'm going, but it's got to be goddamn warmer than it is here right now.
Southern California is definitely warm. San Diego.
California. Yep.
A little too warm in some areas. Yeah.
I know.
Yep.
No, it's never too warm. It can be too cold, but it's never too warm.
Well, it's definitely been too cold here. I can tell you, the bones are chattering. So it's, as I said, like I've got the Eastern spirit of get up and go, let's do it. But I've got the West Coast body that says, mate, we need to chill out a bit. So it's finding that happy compromise. So,
Yes.
Well, it's a small world, so wherever you go, it's, you'll be welcomed and you'll be honored. I do believe that.
Well, it's now opening up those channels of possibility. I'm willing to go anywhere, and the divine just has to make it possible for me. And I'm the adventurous soul is ready to fly, and wherever I need to be, they'll provide a way for me to get there. And that's, I've got 2 weeks to pack up and go here, and so ready to go wherever they want me to go.
And it's keeping the channels open is with total faith and perfect trust that there's nothing really to do. We just allow the divine to manifest, and whatever divine action is needed at that point, then we can get up and do it. However, the non-doing or the being state, that's our primary point, and whatever actions, swift or not, then you can then take that with perfect faith and trust. So you are keeping your channels open. I think this show here was I know it was divinely planned for all of us and for everyone listening, so that we can have this. I know that today, for example, we'll be in the thought energy and channel energy of the dolphins, and we'll be embodying our dolphin self and staying in that truth and that light, and that is what helps us with all the cares and the ego and the the shadow of ego and all of that. That's really where we can return. And anytime we catch ourselves falling into that ego game, those games of ego, we can simply step into and realign and hit that reset button and keep our channels open. And that creates that's a totally awesome way to live.
Yeah. Right. And who wouldn't want to be a dolphin's energy, a dolphin's divine supreme love? Who would not want to be that? I'd swap places and go off and be a dolphin right now, happily. To live in that beautiful joy, peace, love, and light, that community, that camaraderie, that trust, that everything that they are. We've got to start looking at them for the beautiful divine creatures that they are, and that we're capable of being so. They're just in a higher dimension than us, but they're inviting us to rise up.
Yeah.
Right. That's exactly right. Rise up.
Rise up. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's the theme today and tomorrow and the next day.
That's right.
Rise up to a higher form of yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Vibration.
And I just want to say too, as an extra added high five for everyone listening to this, you're rising up right now. It's like you're listening to this, you're feeling the vibration, you're opening your channel. There's no one standing by taking tally and saying, okay, that's enough joy for you, and now it's time for some pain and suffering. That doesn't exist.
Yep.
You can step in. That means today, right now. You can step into and be dolphin today, right now. And if you're going, well, how do I do that? Listen to this show again and again.
Yeah.
Be in this energy, keep it up, and give yourself a huge pat on the back. The light in you wants to shine ever so much more brightly and rise up. That's why you're hearing it through your ears right now. That's why you're coming back to these shows. Is you're really ready for that to step in, to ascend to your full light. Let that light shine through, and let the other crap go. Let go of the other crap.
Yeah, your flims are ready to flap, folks. Get in the water. It's just feel that beautiful energy of just swimming with the dolphins, diving through the waves, swimming together with comrades in sheer joy. I mean, you don't have to be in the water to do that. You can step into that channeling with them and do it with them. And it's just, let go of your limitations. We've talked about this before. Your limitations are what your mind says you can or cannot do. Believe you can, and you will.
Yes.
Step out of your comfort zone.
Yeah, or fear zone.
One thing that makes you feel uncomfortable and move forward, because it's only when you take that first step that your other guides will follow suit. They will go until you go there first. They won't help you unless you help yourself first.
That permission, right? That allowing. It's we can't help people until they're ready to help themselves. And, the angels are there to help us as well.
That's right.
So when we're ready to help ourselves, everybody that we need is there to help us. So it's give yourself permission. You're giving them permission. All of a sudden, your light starts shining bright. A lot of opportunities are presented. You see things in a different way. You feel different about things. But you've got to allow it to happen. And that means taking away the walls, taking away the boundaries, deleting the limitations, and allowing it to happen.
That was just so well said.
So well said. And ego can't survive with that.
No.
You put all that into motion. Ego is not going to triumph if you dedicate yourself and create a habitual way of living that is just what Sarah just beautifully put into words. the fear shadow can't survive with that.
Right.
Just can't.
It's also paying attention to the signs of life. You know, just like the dolphins that come and nudge you here and nudge you there, there's a reason they're sensing something. We've got to be in tune within ourselves and pay attention to the signs. You know, that person that you meet on the bus or somebody at the supermarket or something that just suddenly popped up on YouTube, on Facebook, or you know, whatever it is, don't dismiss it. There's a message there. Pay attention. Take away, you know, the flaps around your eyes, open up, have your sensories in place. And all of these little things like pieces of puzzle will come together and give you the picture that you need to follow.
I like
So
that
true.
flap, guys.
I do too.
The blinders that people walk through life with.
Yes.
Yes.
They're just in a foveal vision, just in tunnel vision instead of being in peripheral vision, where they see all around them.
Right.
As a former stunt car driver, that's how we used to have to be in our cars, just completely 360 degrees around us. That feeling, we knew everything that was coming from the side, from the back, from everywhere.
You had to. And you had to do it in the now, right? Everything had to be in the now. And
in the now.
And I really encourage you to go back and listen to her show where she talks about how she got into stunt car driving at a ripe old age and all the other journey that she's taken to be where she is to now, because I know you'll be truly, truly inspired by Belinda's story. So please go back here onto the shows. You even in the show page on the search on selfdiscoveryradio.com, you can just put in Belinda Farrell and all of her shows will come up. And I encourage you to listen to them, please. But
that's exciting too. That's very uncommon, and I think the stories there inspiring, yes, and they come from an angle where you know you're using sensory factors, and you're at a place in your body where you're evolving, that's stretching the mind, getting out of the comfort zone, and that kind of level of consciousness being captured in these radio shows, Belinda, I think is phenomenal. I think it's beyond it's beyond inspirational. Really, it's an energy that people take a bite into, and it zings. You know, they channel that energy. And so thank you for that. I'm going to go myself and check out those shows, those former shows as well, because that's pretty darn cool. The race car stunt driver things and the peripheral vision and all of that. That's some really evolved learnings there.
Well, I never understood why the peripheral vision was so important until I started studying the ancient Hawaiian healing. And they have a term for it. It's called hakalau, to be in. And so you're focused straight in, but you're spread out so that you can see everything. And when you're in that state, you can't be angry or stressed.
Right.
It's like practicing conscious breathing. If you practice this hakalau, you're staying at a very high state of relaxation, and it was a key for some of the kahunas to do their work, to stay in that peripheral vision, because then you're accessing your parasympathetic nervous system rather than the sympathetic fight or flight.
Right. Yes.
That's it.
Yes. That sounds like another show.
Oh, we'd love to do that.
Tapping into our senses, right?
That's right. Oh, yes. And also, I think what we're talking about, too, here, we're pointing at anyway, is maintaining. How do we continue in this open channel, forum that we've created for ourselves? How do we continue and maintain this level of integrity of our own consciousness throughout our day, like the ups and downs and whatever external material or content that's rising up in our experience? How do we maintain our vibration, our open channeledness, and so that we're able to flow just like the waves of the ocean?
Right. Well, clearly we have another show with Belinda coming up on that, keeping our senses alive, and we'll definitely let you know when that one is coming up, because obviously there's just always, as with my wonderful guests, so much more to them, and so much more to channel off into another direction. And so we will definitely be channeling off into tapping in and using our senses in our daily lives, how to tap in and use them in our peripheral vision and sensory all the time, so that we don't get snapped back into the fear. or snap back into the ego. If we consciously are in those senses and constantly in tuned with them, as you said, there is no time or place for the ego or the fear. So definitely a show is going to come up on that for sure. But for now, I would love you to, both of you, let people know how they can find you, and about your program, how people can sign up to swim with the dolphins, Belinda, and then we'll round the show up. So Belinda, would you like to go first?
Okay, thank you. It would be my honor to connect with your wonderful people out there, and if they have any inkling to come and to swim with the dolphins or to just change their lives completely in this 1 week, 7 days, 6 nights, they can go to my website at www.hunahealing, that's H-U-N-A healing.com, and there is my email address and my telephone number. There's a PDF of the dolphin swims of the under Sacred Journeys. And also on my website, I have a DVD of the dolphin seminars. So it shows the dolphins and interacting and squeaking and just having a blast. And the people swimming with them. Had a photographer just follow us for several of our seminars. And so it's a DVD you can only get on that website. And I would be just so elated and honored to be your tour guide. So come be with us. Aloha and mahalo.
So that's Huna Healing, which is H-U-N-A healing.com. And you're going to find out everything there. And as I said, please do listen to her other shows. They'll blow your mind what this lady has been through and what she's doing today. So Christina, would you let everybody know about Athella's Sanctuary?
Yes, Athella's Sanctuary is it's our retreats here in the Yucatan. They're right on the Gulf of Mexico. We do also do kayaking and open swims with the dolphins, and whenever they appear, whenever they choose to impart their beautiful energy, we're here for them, and we channel their energy as well. We have a very beautiful 3-day retreat that is set up for individuals, families, and children. So bring everyone or bring your partner. And we work on, and I say work on, meaning we unfold. We are open to life and light insofar as any topics that come up for the participants. The retreat does have a theme. Every retreat, different themes. So we'll work on manifesting, creating wealth and abundance, health, and healing of the body, channeling, and we'll also work on connection with your guides and connecting to your guides in everyday life. So we cover all these things, love and relationships, and really the relationship to self. So if you're looking for a way to really collapse and dissolve that ego and do it in a way where you are in sanctuary, in this beautiful sanctuary, we're near the pyramids and ruins, so we go to those sites as well. Then connect with Athella's World, because that's really a springboard coming back straight home, straight to you. And you can find us at athella.org, which is ATHELLA.org. And it would be a sincere honor to have anyone who's ready for that journey to step into by way of retreat, which is really the reset button, if you want to call it that. And it would be an honor to be your guide and to be a witness to your transformation. So thank you all for having me on the show today. It's been so much dolphin fun today.
Yes. Well, yesterday I was asked actually why I do what I do. And I say because the amount of shows I've done, which is nearly 1,000 now, to hear people's stories from where they've come from, their transformation because they were willing to take their journey in life, stepping into their awesomeness, their light, their gift to humanity, to themselves, is what it's all about. And every time I do these shows, I'm nurtured, I'm inspired. I rise up even more in energy, because we hear only so much about the negative in the world, but I'm here to celebrate those that celebrate life and step into the joy, step into the light, step into the love, step into the laughter. And most certainly people like the both of you, I'm very honored to be interviewing you and having you along this journey. And to remember, folks, they came from their own darkness, but they chose the light, and you too can do the same. And this is what Self-Discovery Radio is all about. So thank you very much, ladies. We are going to book another show about tapping in, channeling our sensories and keeping them on.
Joyful.
How to keep them on. That's the problem. We can tap in. Oh, this is great. Oh, I've lost it. How do we maintain it, right? That's the thing, is how do we maintain it amongst the friction that is around us? So that's a very, very important one, which we will do with Christina, Athella, and Belinda again very, very shortly. So thank you so much, Christina, Athella, and Belinda.
Thank you. And love and light to you both. What joy. This is just pure joy today. Thank you. That's so fun.
Wonderful. And I can't wait to swim with the dolphins. There goes. Yeah, exactly. Thank you so much, ladies, and thanks to all the love, and thank you to the beautiful dolphins of the world. We need you.
Course.
We wish there were more of you, and we would love you to even transcend the consciousness of those that you touch and step into each and every one of our dreams, because we need your divine energy. So thank you all very, very much.
Okay, aloha. We'll talk soon.
Yes.
We'll talk soon. Bye for now.
Until next time.